Dad brought me up to be seen and not heard. So that's not a good start. Never saw myself as being a CEO. It wasn't really an aspiration of mine, and I got into it completely by accident. I guess the best way to start talking about board games and the dynamics is to say how I got involved with it. I'm going to take you back a little bit. I was at BEA Systems. BEA was going to get acquired by Oracle. You know, Thomas Kurian was an absolutely brilliant guy, but the distance on the commute was such for where I was living is it looked like a relocation. And so I decided to find a different company to work for in the Bay Area. And the two biggest companies that were interesting, one was VMware and one was NetApp. And VMware was already saturated with BEA people, so I kind of figured NetApp would be a cool start. So I interviewed over there and I ended up picking up a general manager job running their secondary storage division, kind of the Snap product. I was gifted a group called Topio, which was over in Israel. After doing an assessment of it, after a couple of months, that business probably wasn't the right thing to NetApp to have. And so we elected to close that business down. And so I went over to Israel, executed against the process that we said we were going to do, and then I came back. And when I came back, Suresh basically popped into my office and said, "Hey, thanks very much. By the way, I'm off. I'm going to go and be CEO of this company called Omnion. And, you know, you did a good job. Really appreciate it." Thought nothing of it. We then went into an acquisition mode of trying to buy Data Domain, which ended up going to EMC. That was going to drop into my group and ended up not. And so I was wondering what I was going to do next. And in fact, I was 2/3 of the way through joining a company in Colorado to be a COO there. And then I got a call out of the blue from a guy called Espandia, and he had a shared acquaintance of mine. I met with him, and Espandia kind of sucked me into this Sequoia-based startup called LogLogic. And so I looked at the business, and frankly speaking, it scared the shit out of me that this was Sequoia property. And in fact, after interviewing with them, I actually threw the towel in because I was a little scared if I took the job and I failed, then that's kind of career over. But anyway, they came back and they talked to me about it. Espandia's selling thing to me, by the way, was we met in a coffee shop and he explained LogLogic in such a way as it felt like it was his favorite child that, you know, wasn't doing great at school and really needed somebody to come in and help. And he just had me at hello. And so I was sucked in. Anyway, so I stepped into the job. The reference that they got, they knew that they needed to turn the company around pretty fast. So they wanted somebody that wasn't scared to jump into something pretty stressful. And believe it or not, that connection was Suresh from NetApp. And then a lot later on, I went to a Sequoia event and I met a guy called Yoram Novak, who was the CEO of Topio, which was the acquired company. And he popped up to me and said, "Hey, by the way, Guy, I gave you a reference, which is why you got the job at for LogLogic with Sequoia. And even though you took the company and you shut it down, you did it with such professionalism that I felt that you were right for the job." Obviously, I spent time with both Manish and Suresh. Both are fantastic guys and gave me little hacks. The Manish gem for me was the dynamics of company meetings versus between meetings. And he theorized, and he's absolutely bang on the money, that a lot of people don't actually kind of apply themselves to to-dos between meetings. So what he did very deliberately is set to-dos and tasks to happen between meetings, and then the meetings were readouts, they weren't working sessions. So I can't tell you how many times I've sat now in meetings where someone's walked in and literally between the meetings they've done nothing, and they literally just pick up where they left off, and all of that time between that has been wasted where they've been doing something else, valuable enough, but not helping us move forward. So that was the Manish thing. Suresh's was I got a bit of a talking to from him, but basically I walked into the NetApp job with a very clear understanding of what I was going to do. He asked me, and I gave him a list of things, and this was within 2-3 weeks of being there. And he basically said, look, I'm going to ban you from making any decisions because this job's complicated and it's like an onion. You might be right, but in reality, what you want to do is to peel it away. So, you know, if you believe in something as a thesis, write it down, test the thesis, and then adjust it, and then test it and adjust it. And then when you're really confident, then make the decisions. Believe it or not, the way in which I measure the effectiveness of an executive coming into an organization is the speed of which he makes decisions. You know, you'll get 3 types. You'll get immature managers that will make immediate decisions without any understanding of the context. That was me, right? You get mature executives who basically, they take a period of time where it looks like they're not really doing a huge amount, but they're spending their time thinking about it, and then they make a lot of changes and adjust the organization. And then the other side is you get, you know, immature managers who basically talk a good game but never make any changes. And boy, have I seen a lot of that. I wasn't aiming for a CEO job. The actions that I took inside of NetApp as a general manager got me the initial reference, and then it actually got me the backdoor reference that got me the job.